Welcome to the Perfection Selection, a Cream of Cards TV.
Do you like collecting? Then please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to click on the like button because it does something very special. It makes you younger. Hello YouTubians and internet adventurers. I've done lots of videos of trading cards and cigarette cards featuring the earliest sports stars, the very first movie stars, motor cars, etc. So I thought this time let's have a change. Well, you might want to find out about the origins of the cards themselves. So here it goes. Welcome to the collectible that trumps them all. Trading cards and cigarette cards have origins dating back as early as 15th century Chinese calling cards. The same century that Gutenberg invented the original information revolution, a printing press. Enterprising 18th century London merchants used humble advertising trade cards to transform their backstreet market stalls into global brands at the dawn of our great Western culture. With improvements in mass colour printing technology, Victorians eagerly collected these beautifully illustrated trade cards when television, radio and cinema didn't even exist. Companies fiercely competed against each other in coming up with card subjects that would appeal to their information-starved customers, unwittingly providing us with one of the finest pictorial records of the desires and fashion trends of the early 20th century people, at the birth of our celebrity-obsessed age, and when the car was simply a toy for the rich and famous. Unfortunately, not many cigarette card and trade card books go back as early as the 17th and 18th century tradesmen's cards. And when they do mention about them, it's normally very briefly and without any illustrations whatsoever. And that's why I decided to do this video, because I think it's important to go back as far as you can, and you can't go much earlier than the invention of the printing press itself. However, here is a book that bucks the trend somewhat, and it's devoted purely to those early printed works of art, written by Ambrose and first published in 1925. First editions are quite rare, and people charge anything up to £100 or 150 US dollars. But you can obviously get much cheaper later editions on the internet, like the one that I've got, which I got for about £10. I've put a list of lots of useful books on trading cards and cigarette cards in the description. I don't think many artists of today will bother spending copious amounts of time on ornate illustrations like these anymore. These cards were an early form of advertising, more than 100 years before the arrival of 20th century mass media, and at the dawn of our modern commerce. It's interesting seeing all the different trades and services that were offered at that time. Of course, these prehistoric business cards would have targeted the rich upper middle classes and aristocracy, since most ordinary people couldn't even read or write in those days. As with today's celebrity obsessed advertisers, these early merchants loved to brag about their most prestigious and wealthiest clientele, especially if the monarch personally used their services or products. In the dimly lit London streets, although of course some of these cards advertise the services of those persons whose job it was to light the street lamps. Anyway, in a fog-filled London labyrinth of unnamed alleyways and unnumbered houses, cards giving directions, clear directions to your premises, your business premises, were very useful. Well, they didn't have A to Z street maps at that time. In an age when most people were uneducated, trade signs or pictures were very important. As the old saying goes, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Going by that logic, a video is probably worth 1,000 pictures, literally. especially when you consider there's averagely 25 frames per second, which totals up to nearly 8,000 pictures or frames for a simple 5-minute YouTube video. Anyway, many of those early trade and shop signs were incorporated into these tradesman card illustrations, an early form of branding years before Coca-Cola came along. This signage tradition still just about lives on today through the ubiquitous British pub signs. Of course, even the poor old British pub is an endangered species now, thanks to the government's rules and regulations and political correctness that's gone completely mad. Pubs have been providing community hubs for people to meet each other for thousands of years, only to be wiped out in a fraction of that time by our government. Cards cover a rich range of subjects, even pub signs themselves. Check out these Whitbread Inn signs that were issued after World War II. Even the early beginnings that led to our great card collecting hobby are featured in this particular set, Cries of London, showing a number of street sellers, which is itself nearly 100 years old. Most importantly, when we look at these cigarette cards, we're looking at the history of YouTube itself, since cigarette cards and their early ancestor, tradesmen's cards, are a form of mass media which rivaled even newspapers in their rich collage of beautiful pictures, photos and nuggets of concise information driven by commercial visionaries. They predate television, cinema and radio by hundreds of years. Of course, they feature the very first movie stars and ingenious inventors as they were actually laying the foundations for our information age, where any ordinary person such as myself or you can upload a simple YouTube video like this one. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to come along to my card museum at creamofcards.com.